What's up guys, it's Lord Both here with another video, and Tomb Raider, The Legends of Lara Croft on Netflix has fully released and people are not very happy about it. And why are people not happy about it? Well, you could probably guess. Gay stuff. This comes from Polygon. Netflix's Tomb Raider takes Lara Croft out of Conrad Roth's shadow with a long-lost BFF. Showrunner Tasha Ho reflects on a pivotal reunion in episode 4. Keep in mind, Tasha Ho was the same person who was showrunner of that god-awful Witcher Blood Origin series. Now they do kind of a rundown of the series so far and how Lara can't shake herself out of the shadow of Conrad Roth, but it's this quote right here from Tasha Ho that we really want to dive in on to start. I wanted Lara, who idolizes Roth when we meet her, even in the games, and who idolizes her father across the games, to come to a place where she realized the vision she had of both those men is complicated and not perfect, and to stop looking up to them as the model of who she should be, and realize she has to choose her own path. So we needed a girl boss moment is what she's saying, where she realizes those men who mentored her, they were just pieces of shit holding her back. She needs to realize her full potential and be herself. She continues, so I knew that needed to be a key element in her growth. So it made sense to then pair her with someone who knew Roth in a different way. That's when she says enters Camilla, who is Roth's daughter, who's apparently supposed to be an FBI agent. They end up kind of adversarial, I guess, to start, and then end up being on the same team and close, and I guess they grew up together as friends. And the interview goes on to say the end of Tomb Raider Season 1 establishes Camilla as of Team Lara, something the adventurer needed in this moment more than ever. But in Episode 4, there are certain sparks that could lead an open-hearted viewer to think that there's something more between the two women. Because of course there is. We all suspected this, by the way, when we first saw the clips of this scene leak, and now it's just being confirmed even more. When Camilla realizes the intruder in her apartment isn't an enemy, she drops her pistol and invites the sweat-soaked Lara to wash up. Cue the Careless Whisper saxophone. The mid-bath dialogue scene that follows challenges the legacy of the Lara Croft new code myth as the two take each other in and talk work. All the rat-a-tat of a rom-com. Oh yes, because that's what I want in my series about Lara Croft. A lesbian rom-com. Between Camilla flustering Lara with "Are you dating anyone?" to the occasional caresses that snap into fist pump, the repaired relationship has Korasami vibes, which, by the way, fuck that. One of the first series to be ruined by weebs shipping two animated characters together just because they want to fap off to them. Or maybe it's just the kind of deep friendship that takes the hyper-reserved Lara completely off guard. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. That's why, as you can see right here in the picture, they gave all these caresses and relationship talk and set up innuendo scenes between Lara and this woman who is very androgynously built and has one of the versions of the haircut. It's completely just friendship. It's not meant to mean anything else. Ho won't put a label on Lara or the relationship, but she says she's eager to see how fans respond, which is code for, hey, if everybody complains and hates this, if we're green light for a season 2, we're gonna bury it. Because Netflix will say, hey, if you want to make more money and keep this series going, you better fucking bury it. Which is the same thing I think they're going to do with the House of the Dragon lesbian kiss. That thing is just going to be deeply memory hold, because fans hated it. She says, quote, I'm happy when anyone ships anybody. It's all fun to see. Everyone's art is fantastic. It's great. Which is just a roundabout way of saying, I hope you guys Rule 34 the shit out of this, so that weirdos everywhere can fap off and flick their beans, or whatever you got going on down there, to Lara getting on with this androgynously built lesbian haircut girl. Because just like the Harley Quinn animated show that's on, we're taking mainstream comic book characters and video game characters and doing these kinds of shows with them and writing our shit relationship, gay, lesbian comedy draw storylines because no one would actually pay us to make the hentai we actually want to make. Because that's the thing about all this. These people, like Ho, they don't actually like Lara Croft. They don't actually want to make this show about these characters. They want to make a show or movie about their own characters, with their own gay and lesbian experiences, and they just want to make those kinds of rom-coms and romantic dramas. The problem is, they can't actually make a large sum of money doing those movies, because those movies have a really small budget typically, because they don't draw in a huge audience. So how do they make their money? By doing these kinds of shows and movies and making those shows and movies about what they want to do, instead of actually making the show and movie about the character and about what the story is supposed to be about. Lara Croft originally had a very basic premise as a video game. Hot, modern times female Indiana Jones in form-fitting clothes that goes around shooting bad guys and gathering up magical artifacts. It wasn't that complicated, but somehow we've turned that into deeply relationship-filled, lesbian to bisexual romantic comedies and dramas. By the way, this is the same kind of anti-lore bullshit that Ho is doing here, that she did in Blood Origin, and why that was so horrifically rejected. And this show is also being very horrifically rejected. As you can see here from Rotten Tomatoes, 68% from the critics, which makes sense, they love any kind of gay relationship shit, but a 44% from the audience. And there is only 19 critical reviews of this thing. So is that critic review sample size that great of a number? I don't know. Now, the series hasn't been out for very long, so we'll have to see how the averages work, but I have a feeling that both these numbers are probably going to go down. Now, before, I've praised Netflix for getting it most of the time right when it comes to appealing to the right audiences with the projects they make. However, both in the case of The Witcher and in the case of this Lara Croft show, they've gotten it completely wrong. They need to keep their woke LGBTQ stuff and those content creators to what they should want to do, which is the romantic comedies, the dramas, etc. And those do very well with their audiences. However, these aren't doing well with their actual audiences because they're not the kind of shows that those audiences want to see of this IP. Now, to be fair, this Tomb Raider series has been coming down the pipeline for a while, so maybe, like some other companies, they're still in the process of putting out this kind of girl boss woke stuff that they're kind of chained to being pushed out before actually pivoting to the right direction. Because I don't think this kind of thing with the showrunner it has and the direction it's taking is something that would be approved by the brass at Netflix as it stands right now. Because it does seem like the whole industry is kind of pivoting away from this stuff. I'm interested to see further reception of this show, what that will look like, and we'll definitely be keeping our ears to the ground of it. But those are just my thoughts on all of this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.